Take a deep breath. Right now, wherever you are, sitting, walking, lying in bed, maybe even driving, I want you to pause, not physically, but mentally. For just a few moments, give yourself permission to be fully present, to be here, with yourself, with your thoughts, with your truth. There is no rush. There is no need to pretend. You don't have to impress anyone in this moment. This is your space, your time. And maybe, for the first time in a while, you're not being asked to do anything, but simply listen, to reflect, to remember who you are. This journey isn't about loud motivation or empty positivity. It's not about pretending everything is fine or faking confidence. This is something deeper. This is about coming back to the foundation, to the one belief that shapes everything else, the belief you hold about yourself. Self-belief. It sounds simple, but behind that phrase lies the secret to everything you've ever wanted to build, to change, to become. Your relationships, your career, your health, your dreams. Every breakthrough you seek starts from within, not with talent, not with luck, not with the approval of others, but with a quiet, unwavering belief that you are capable, you are worthy, and you are enough to begin. But I know, sometimes, that belief can feel out of reach. Life has a way of wearing us down. We collect wounds. We experience rejection, failure, and disappointment. And over time, we stop trusting ourselves. We stop seeing what we're capable of. We shrink. We wait. We doubt. This audiobook is for those moments. It's for the days you feel lost, for the nights when you question your worth, for the silent battles you fight when no one else is watching. This is your reminder. You are stronger than you think, not because someone else says so, but because buried deep beneath the fear, the insecurity, the noise of the world, there is a part of you that knows, a part of you that remembers, a part of you that's always been there, waiting for you to come home. This isn't just about hype or motivation. This is a journey inward, one that invites you to face your truth, to understand your strength, and to start building the kind of belief that doesn't crumble under pressure, the kind that stands tall even in the storm. So wherever you are, however you're feeling, I invite you to take this next hour as a gift to yourself. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have it all figured out. All you need is the willingness to listen, to open your heart, and to take that first step. Let's begin. Part 1. Understanding self-belief. What is self-belief? It's easy to confuse it with confidence. Confidence is what we show the world. It's the outer shell, the performance, the polished version of ourselves we put on when we walk into a room. Confidence is important. It helps us speak up, take action, step forward. But confidence can be fragile if it's not built on something deeper. Self-belief is that deeper layer. It's not a mask or a performance. It's the quiet, inner knowing that you are capable, not perfect, not without flaws, but capable. It's the sense that no matter what happens, you can handle it. You might fall, but you'll rise. You might fail, but you'll try again. It's the voice that whispers, "You've got this," when everything else in your life is shouting otherwise. And then there's arrogance, something entirely different. Arrogance is insecurity dressed up as superiority. It comes from a place of needing to prove something to others because deep down, we don't really believe it ourselves. Arrogance pushes others down to lift ourselves up. But self-belief lifts everyone. Because when you truly believe in yourself, you don't need to compete or compare. You're not chasing worth in achievements or approval. You know your value is not conditional. You move differently. You speak with more honesty. You connect more deeply. You begin to live, not just exist. Now let's talk about why this matters, not just in theory, but in your real, everyday life. The beliefs you hold about yourself affect every decision you make. Think about that for a second. If deep down you believe you're not good enough, you'll hold back from opportunities. You'll say no to things you secretly want. You'll tolerate relationships that don't serve you. You'll doubt your voice, your talent, your place in the world. On the other hand, if you believe in your potential, not in a loud or boastful way, but in a grounded, quiet confidence, you'll take chances. You'll show up. You'll persist. You'll give yourself permission to try, to fail, to grow. And that changes everything. Self-belief influences your relationships too. When you trust yourself, you don't lose yourself trying to be who others want you to be. You set healthier boundaries. You stop people-pleasing. You begin to surround yourself with those who respect your worth because you've already claimed it for yourself. And your goals, the things you dream of, the life you want to create, they don't come to life without self-belief. Because dreams require risk. Growth demands discomfort. And without the foundation of belief, it's hard to walk through the fear, the rejection, the inevitable setbacks. Here's the truth most people forget. Your beliefs shape your life, not just your mindset, but your actual life. This isn't just a poetic idea, it's backed by science. Cognitive psychology teaches us that the thoughts we repeat become beliefs. Those beliefs become patterns, and those patterns become behavior. Over time, behavior becomes identity, and identity shapes our reality. In other words, if you constantly think, "I can't," or "I'm not enough," that belief will color how you see every situation, how you show up in the world, and what you think is possible for you. But the good news is this: beliefs can be changed. They are not carved in stone. They are not part of your DNA. They are thoughts. And thoughts can be questioned, challenged, replaced. You are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are not the names you were called or the doubts you've carried. You are something far greater. And self-belief is the process of uncovering that truth, one layer at a time. So when we say, "You are stronger than you think," it's not just a nice-sounding phrase. It's a truth most people forget because life has worn them down. But you're here now, remembering, waking up to the power you've always had inside you. You don't need to become someone else. You don't need to fix yourself. You need to see yourself more clearly. That's where self-belief begins, not with doing more, but with knowing who you already are. Capable, resourceful, resilient, strong. And as we go deeper in this journey, we'll uncover how to strengthen that belief, how to build a mindset that doesn't waver in the face of struggle, how to live each day from a place of quiet power, not noise, not pressure, just truth. You are stronger than you think, and this is only the beginning. Part 2. The roots of doubt and where they come from. If self-belief is so powerful, then why do so many of us struggle with it? Why is it that even the most talented, kind-hearted, hard-working people doubt themselves, feel unworthy, live smaller lives than they're capable of? To move forward, we have to go back. We need to understand the roots of our doubt, not to dwell there, but to reclaim what was lost. Here's the truth. You were not born doubting yourself. No one enters the world thinking they're not good enough. As children, we're full of imagination, curiosity, and courage. We fall and get up. We speak without filtering. We dream out loud. We ask questions. We try again. We laugh. We sing. We run toward life. But somewhere along the way, things change. Maybe it started with a careless comment from someone you trusted. Maybe it was a teacher who told you your best wasn't good enough. A parent who only noticed when you failed. A friend who laughed when you spoke your truth. Or a system that labeled you, boxed you in, and made you feel less than. These early experiences become scripts, internal messages that play quietly in the background of your mind. Be careful. Don't stand out. Don't speak up. Don't hope too high. You might get hurt. And so we shrink. We second guess. We start believing that doubt is truth, when in fact, doubt is just a learned response. Something we were taught by the world, not something that defines us. Sometimes, these doubts are subtle. You achieve something great, but instead of celebrating, your mind whispers, "Yeah, but you just got lucky." You walk into a room and think, "I don't belong here." You want to start something new, but the voice of fear says, "Who do you think you are?" That voice isn't you. It's an echo, an old wound replaying itself. And if we're not aware of it, we start making decisions based on fear instead of truth. Think about it. How many times have you talked yourself out of something before you even tried? How many times have you dimmed your light to make others comfortable? How often have you settled? Not because it's what you wanted, but because you didn't believe you could have more. The root of self-doubt is disconnection. Disconnection from your inner voice, your worth, your potential. It's forgetting your own story because someone else's narrative became louder. But here's the good news. What was learned can be unlearned. What was lost can be found again. And we begin by asking some honest questions. Where did my doubt come from? Whose voice am I still carrying inside my head? Is it mine or someone else's pain passed down to me? Because the truth is, most of the people who made you feel small were fighting battles of their own. Their words weren't about you. Their limitations weren't yours to carry. But no one taught you how to drop that weight. Until now. This is your invitation to stop internalizing every negative experience as a reflection of your worth. You are not your rejection. You are not your failure. You are not your wounds. Your doubt may have roots, but so does your strength. And your roots go deep, deeper than any comment, any judgment, any setback. You come from resilience. Every time life knocked you down and you got up, that was strength. Every time you kept going when no one noticed, that was belief, even if it didn't feel like it. Every time you felt broken, but showed up anyway, that was courage. That's the real you. It's time to reconnect with that part of you. Not the one who's been trying to be enough for others, but the one who already is enough, simply by being. Rebuilding self-belief isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you were before the world told you to doubt yourself. So here's what I want you to know. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are not broken. You are not unworthy. You are human. You are evolving. And everything you need to rebuild your self-belief is already inside you. It's just been buried under layers of noise, fear, and old stories. And starting today, we begin the process of uncovering it. Not with pressure, not with perfection, but with compassion. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to fix everything overnight. You just need to take the first step, the step toward truth, toward awareness, toward healing. Because you are not the sum of your doubts. You are the author of your next chapter. And this next chapter begins with clarity. The root of your doubt is not weakness, it's unhealed experience. And your job now is not to judge it, but to understand it, so you can finally let it go. In the next section, we'll explore how to build unshakable self-belief, not the kind that depends on outside validation, but the kind that stands tall, even in silence. A belief that is rooted, real, and yours to claim. But for now, let this truth sink in. You are stronger than your story, and your new story begins now. Part 3. How to build unshakable self-belief. Now that we've unpacked where doubt comes from, it's time to talk about what really matters. How to build a self-belief so strong, so real, that nothing can shake it. Not a bad day, not someone's opinion, not even your own moments of fear. Because real self-belief isn't about feeling confident all the time. It's not about pretending you've got it all together. It's about trust. It's about knowing at your core that no matter what life throws at you, you'll find a way through. That's what we're aiming for. And it's possible. But first, we have to shift our mindset around what self-belief really is. 1. Self-belief is a practice, not a trait. We often think self-belief is something you either have or you don't, that some people are just born with it. But that's not true. Self-belief is not a fixed trait. It's a muscle. And just like any muscle, it needs exercise, rest, and consistency. So instead of saying, "I don't believe in myself," shift the question to, "How can I practice believing in myself today?" Some days, that practice looks like speaking up in a meeting. Some days, it's setting a boundary. Other days, it's simply getting out of bed and choosing to keep going. Even small acts of self-respect grow your belief. 2. Keep promises to yourself. One of the fastest ways to weaken self-belief is by breaking your own word. Think about it. If a friend constantly promised to meet you and then bailed every time, would you trust them? Of course not. So what happens when you do that to you? When you say you'll start something, but don't. When you say, "I'll stop this habit," but keep falling into it. When you say, "I'll believe in myself tomorrow," but never follow through. Every broken promise chips away at your self-trust. And self-trust is the foundation of self-belief. Start small. Don't overwhelm yourself with a list of 20 goals. Pick one thing you can commit to this week. Do it, just for you. No one else has to know. Show yourself that you can be counted on, that your word matters. Each time you do, your belief in yourself gets stronger. 3. Watch the way you talk to yourself. Self-belief isn't just about what you do. It's about what you say to yourself every single day. Your inner dialogue is powerful. Words shape your perception, and perception shapes your reality. So what are you saying to yourself when no one's listening? Is it, "I'm not good enough? I always mess things up. No one will ever take me seriously"? What if you said that to a child every day? They'd believe it, and their self-worth would suffer. Now think about how long you've been saying those things to yourself. How many years have you been repeating lies that someone else planted? It's time to rewrite that narrative. This doesn't mean fake affirmations. It means truthful, conscious language that supports growth. Try. I'm learning. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm growing. I have done hard things before. I can do this again. I'm not my past. I get to choose my future. Your words matter. Choose them wisely. 4. Surround yourself with belief builders. The people around you influence your belief more than you think. Some people will doubt you, not because you can't, but because they couldn't. Some people will make you question yourself, because your growth threatens their comfort. Pay attention. Who makes you feel like you're too much? Who supports your vision, even when it's still messy and uncertain? You don't need everyone to believe in you, but you do need someone who sees your potential, especially in the moments when you forget. Find people who remind you of your strength, people who challenge you with love, not judgment, people who reflect back the version of you that you're working to become. And if you don't have those people yet, start being that person for yourself. Be your own belief builder. 5. Take action before you feel ready. This is key. Self-belief doesn't come before action. It comes from action. We wait. We think, when I feel confident, I'll take the leap. But confidence is not the fuel. It's the result of doing hard things. You don't become a runner by reading about running. You become a runner by lacing up your shoes and hitting the pavement day after day. The same is true for belief. If you wait until you feel ready, you'll wait your whole life. Start now, even if your hands are shaking, even if your voice trembles, even if it's messy. Your future self doesn't need perfection. They need momentum, and every small act of courage is a deposit in the bank of self-belief. 6. Track evidence of your growth. Your brain has a built-in negativity bias. It remembers mistakes, failures, and pain more than wins. That's why you must consciously track your progress. Keep a proof of strength journal. Every night, write down 1 to 3 things that show your growth. A hard conversation you had, a trigger you managed better than last time, a task you used to avoid but did anyway. These may seem small, but over time, you'll start to see a pattern. You're changing, you're capable, you're becoming. And the more you see it, the more you'll believe it. 7. Forgive yourself. Self-belief doesn't mean being perfect. It means being human and having your own back through it all. You will make mistakes. You will fall short. That doesn't mean you're not worthy of belief. It means you're alive. Stop holding yourself hostage to your past. Forgiveness isn't about excusing behavior. It's about releasing shame so you can move forward. Say this out loud. I forgive myself for not knowing better before. I'm doing better now. That's the voice of someone who believes in their future more than their failure. Self-belief is built in the moments no one sees. It's built when you choose to keep going, when you honor your word, when you quiet the noise, when you show up for yourself over and over again. And the more you practice, the stronger it becomes. Not loud, not arrogant, but steady, rooted, calm, unshakable. Because it's not about being perfect. It's about finally trusting that who you are is enough. And you are. Part 4. Rising through setbacks and failures. There are moments in life when everything feels like it's falling apart. Moments when the dream slips through your fingers. When the door you were counting on slams shut. You gave it your all. You showed up with hope, maybe even with confidence. But it didn't work out. Maybe you lost the job. Maybe the business didn't grow. Maybe someone you trusted turned away. Maybe life just knocked the wind out of you. And now you're here, sitting in the middle of the mess, wondering if you're even meant to keep trying. Let me tell you something that might be hard to believe right now. This part, the part you're in, it matters. This part is not proof that you're failing. It's proof that you're growing. Nobody escapes this part. Not the most successful people, not the strongest, not the smartest. We all get knocked down. We all have chapters we didn't ask for, outcomes we didn't choose. What makes the difference in the long run isn't what happens to us. It's how we respond when it happens. And the truth is, rising doesn't always look like what you think. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's slow. Sometimes it means sitting in the wreckage long enough to understand what really matters to you. You see, failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of it. It's not a sign to give up. It's an invitation to look deeper, to ask better questions, to rise not in the same way, but in a better way. We grow most when we're cracked open, when the outer image shatters, and we're forced to meet the real version of ourselves underneath. Not the perfect one, not the polished one, the one that's raw, human, still trying, still hoping. It's in these moments, these dark, humbling moments, that your self-belief is tested. But it's also where it's forged. Because when the world isn't cheering, when nothing's going right, and you still choose to believe you're worth fighting for, that's strength. Sometimes people will say, failure means you're not cut out for it. But I've learned that failure often means the opposite. It means you're in motion. It means you're trying, you're stretching, you're alive. You are not stuck in the safety of routine. You are reaching. And reaching always comes with the risk of falling. Falling isn't the problem. Staying down is. There's something powerful that happens when you sit in the silence after a setback and realize you're still here. You're still breathing. You're still allowed to dream. Even if your confidence is shaken. Even if your heart is bruised. Even if you don't know how the next chapter starts. That quiet moment, that breath, that choice to keep going, that's self-belief in motion. And no one else can give that to you. They can encourage it, inspire it. But belief, that's something you grow inside, often through the pain. You see, we've been conditioned to hide our failures, to cover them up, to pretend they didn't happen. But what if we stop doing that? What if we let ourselves be seen, not just in the wins, but in the work? What if we made it okay to admit, this hurts, but I'm not done? Because healing doesn't come from hiding. It comes from being honest with ourselves, with the people we trust, and with the journey we're on. You don't have to bounce back overnight. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. You just have to keep moving, even if it's slow, even if it's shaky. Some of the most powerful breakthroughs come after the worst breakdowns, because pain has a way of waking you up, of pulling you back to what really matters, of reminding you that your worth was never tied to one outcome, one person, or one chapter. You are not what happened to you. You are what you choose to do with it. You can carry it like a wound, or you can let it shape you into someone wiser. And maybe this isn't about bouncing back at all. Maybe this is about rising forward, with more clarity, more depth, more intention. Because now you know what it feels like to fall. And because of that, you'll rise differently. Not because you're trying to prove something, but because you believe, maybe for the first time in a long time, that you're worth rising for. Let yourself take that belief seriously. Let it guide your next step. Not 5 steps, not 10, just the next one. That's how momentum is born again. That's how healing begins. You are not the failure. You are the fighter. And yes, I know some days it doesn't feel like you have anything left. But that's exactly why I'm here, in your ear, telling you, you do. You have more than you think. And just because it's hard doesn't mean you're lost. It means you're becoming. Let yourself become. Part 5. The daily habits that strengthen belief. Self-belief isn't built in a single moment of inspiration. It's not a lightning strike. It's a fire you tend to, slowly, steadily, day after day. You see, most people think belief is a feeling, something you either have or you don't. But the truth is, belief is a practice. It's a set of small decisions, repeated often, until they start to change the way you see yourself. And that shift, that inner change, becomes the foundation for everything else. Let me ask you something. When you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you tell yourself? Do you grab your phone and start comparing your life to someone else's highlight reel? Do you remember what went wrong yesterday and let it decide how today feels? Or do you give yourself space, even just one quiet moment before the world barges in, to remember who you are and what you're capable of? That first moment matters more than you think, because the way you start your day tells your mind what to expect. And your mind? It listens. It believes what you repeat. It builds a life around your patterns. Self-belief doesn't ask for perfection. It asks for consistency. And it starts small. A quiet affirmation in the mirror. I'm still growing. I'm still here. A few minutes of breathing before you speak to anyone else. A journal entry, even if it's messy, even if it's short. Just to check in with yourself. How am I really doing today? You don't need to write a novel. You don't need to meditate on a mountaintop. You just need to show up for you before you show up for the world. The people who build unshakable belief aren't necessarily the smartest or the strongest. They're the ones who do the inner work, even when no one's watching. They're the ones who keep promises to themselves, the little ones, because that's where trust begins. Think about that. Every time you do what you said you would, even something as small as drinking water, moving your body, shutting off your phone when you said you would, you build a tiny piece of evidence that says, I can count on me. And that over time becomes powerful. You see, it's not the big accomplishments that shape your belief. It's the repetition of tiny, aligned actions. Belief grows in the quiet hours, the early mornings, the tired evenings, the spaces in between. And here's something else no one really talks about. Self-belief also comes from how you speak to yourself when you mess up. Because you will. You'll miss the gym. You'll lose your temper. You'll procrastinate. And in that moment, you have a choice: shame or compassion. Shame says, "See, I knew you'd fail again." Compassion says, "That wasn't your best moment, but you're allowed to begin again." Only one of those voices builds belief. Only one gives you the energy to rise and try again. So, talk to yourself like someone you're responsible for protecting, because you are. Take breaks when you need them. Feed your mind something better than anxiety and noise. Surround yourself with people who speak life into you, who challenge you without shaming you, who remind you of your strength when you forget. And when you don't have those people around, be that person for yourself. Be the one who says, "It's okay to rest." Be the one who says, "You're not behind. You're just on your own timeline." Be the one who says, "Keep going." Not because you have to prove something, but because there's something beautiful waiting on the other side of your persistence. You can't control everything, but you can control your habits. You can choose what you read, what you consume, what you repeat, and what you give your energy to. Choose things that remind you of your power, not your lack. Choose to do one hard thing each day, not to impress anyone, but to remind yourself of what you can do. Choose to end your day with reflection, not regret. Ask yourself, what did I learn? What did I try? Where did I show up? Because that's what self-belief really is. A relationship, not a reward. A relationship with the part of you that knows you're made for more and is willing to keep reaching for it, no matter how many times you fall. Every single day, you are either feeding your belief or starving it. And the truth is, even on the days when you do nothing, your mind is still learning from that. So why not choose something better, something that fuels you? Don't wait for motivation. It's not reliable. But habits, small, grounded, intentional habits, they will carry you on the days when nothing else can. And over time, they'll change how you see yourself. You'll stop asking for permission. You'll stop waiting for the right time. You'll start trusting your voice. You'll start taking the step, even before you feel ready. That's the power of daily practice. That's how belief becomes your default. And that's how everything begins to change, from the inside out. Part 6. Self-belief in relationships. Boundaries, respect, and letting go. You can believe in yourself all day long, but the true test of that belief often shows up in your relationships. How you let people speak to you, how much space you give others to influence your decisions, how often you abandon your own truth just to keep someone else comfortable. You see, self-belief doesn't only live in your private thoughts. It shows up in who you surround yourself with and who you no longer tolerate. Let's take a moment to really sit with this. Every relationship in your life, every friend, partner, colleague, even family member, is either watering your self-belief or slowly draining it. There are people who remind you of your strength, people who hold you accountable, not from control, but from love, people who clap for your growth, even when it means you outgrow where they once met you. And then there are others, people who shrink when you shine, people who only feel close to you when you're small, when you're doubting, when you need them too much to walk away. It's hard to admit this, especially when we've grown attached, especially when the love feels real, or used to. But here's what no one teaches us. Believing in yourself means setting boundaries, not because you're selfish, but because you're responsible for your energy. You're responsible for what you allow. And sometimes, the kindest thing you can do, for both of you, is to stop accepting disrespect disguised as closeness. That might look like saying no more often. It might mean creating emotional distance from someone you've known for years. It might even mean walking away entirely, not in anger, but in quiet self-respect. This isn't easy work. You will grieve people you never imagined letting go of. You will question your decisions, wonder if you're being too harsh, too distant, too changed. But growth is change. You can't stretch into the person you're meant to be and stay tethered to every version of who you were. That's the paradox of self-belief in relationships. You begin to lose the need to be understood by everyone. And in that space, you begin to deeply understand yourself. You realize that boundaries aren't walls. They're doors with locks. You still let love in, but you choose who holds the key. You begin to separate criticism from truth. Just because someone says you're too much, too sensitive, too driven, doesn't mean they're right. It often just means your growth is reflecting something in them they haven't faced yet. And that's okay. You don't need to fix them. You don't need to convince anyone of your worth. In fact, one of the most powerful things you'll ever learn is this. Not everyone is meant to go where you're going. Some people only know how to connect with the insecure version of you, the one who overgives, who explains too much, who shrinks in rooms they don't understand. But when that version starts to fade, so does the connection, and that hurts. But it's also a sign that you're healing. It means you're no longer building relationships based on survival, but on alignment. You no longer choose people out of fear of being alone, but from a place of calm. I know who I am. I know what I value, and I trust that I'll attract what matches that. You stop chasing closure. You stop rehearsing the perfect explanation. You simply choose peace over people who threaten it. This doesn't mean you stop loving. If anything, it makes your love deeper, more honest, more anchored in truth. Because you're no longer loving from fear. You're loving from fullness. And that's where real connection begins. When you believe in yourself, you no longer cling to relationships where you have to prove your worth. You begin to move with quiet confidence. I'm allowed to take up space here. I'm allowed to ask for what I need. I'm allowed to leave when those needs are never met. You'll start having hard conversations, the ones you used to avoid, not with bitterness, but with clarity. You'll say, "This doesn't feel good anymore," or "I love you, but I can't keep showing up like this." And even if your voice shakes, you'll say it anyway, because your peace matters more than their temporary comfort. That is belief in action. That is emotional strength. And that is how your relationships begin to mirror your growth. You'll attract people who don't need you to dim. People who see you, not for what you do for them, but for who you are when no one's watching. People who celebrate your boundaries because they have their own. And you'll find that you no longer confuse control with closeness. You'll learn that saying no is love, for you and for them. You'll see that letting go of someone doesn't mean the love wasn't real. It means you love them enough not to lie to yourself anymore. It's a quiet kind of freedom, to be surrounded by people who honor your voice instead of silencing it, to no longer beg for space in someone else's story when you were always meant to write your own. So if you're listening right now and you feel stuck in a relationship, romantic, platonic, even professional, that makes you question your worth, pause, breathe, and ask yourself, what would I do if I truly believed I deserved better? Then listen to what comes up, because that voice, the honest one, is your compass. Follow it, even if the path is hard, even if you're afraid. Because belief without boundaries is fantasy, but belief with action, that's power. And you are allowed to walk away from anything that hurts more than it heals. You are allowed to start again, not bitter, not angry, just wiser, just clearer, just more you than you've ever been. Part 7. Overcoming fear and doubt. Walking through the storm. Fear and doubt. Two companions we all know too well. They creep in quietly, often disguised as caution or realism, whispering that maybe we're not ready, not good enough, or that the risk is simply too great. But here's a truth worth holding close. Fear isn't the opposite of courage. Fear is a signal, an invitation to move forward despite the trembling. Imagine standing at the edge of a cliff, wind whipping around you, heart pounding in your chest. That moment, that hesitation, is where courage is born. It's not the absence of fear, it's the decision to take the step anyway. When you believe in yourself, you don't magically become fearless. Instead, you learn to recognize fear for what it really is, a messenger, not a jailer. And doubt? Doubt is the shadow cast by fear. It tells you stories of what if you fail, what if you're rejected, what if you fall short. But here's the thing about stories. They aren't facts, they're just possibilities, and you get to decide which ones you believe. Let's walk through this together. First, acknowledge your fear and doubt without shame. Say to yourself, yes, I feel this. It's okay. Because fighting or denying these feelings only gives them more power. Instead, meet them with curiosity. Ask, what am I afraid of exactly? Is it failure, disappointment, embarrassment, loss? When you name the fear, it loses some of its mystery. Its grip on your imagination loosens. Now think about the worst-case scenario. What if it really happens? Can you survive it? Most likely the answer is yes, and maybe even stronger than before. The storm might be fierce, but it rarely lasts forever. Here's a little secret. The most successful people don't avoid fear. They use it as fuel. They turn their nervous energy into focus. They remind themselves why they started. What's at stake if they don't try? So how do you build that kind of resilience? It starts with small steps. Maybe it's speaking up in a meeting when your heart wants to hide. Maybe it's sending that message you've been delaying. Maybe it's simply getting out of bed on a tough day and choosing hope over despair. Every step forward, no matter how tiny, rewires your brain. It tells your subconscious, I'm stronger than I thought. And as your confidence grows, the fear starts to shrink. But don't be fooled into thinking this is a straight line. Growth is messy. There will be days you feel on top of the world, and days you want to crawl back under the covers. That's okay. Real self-belief isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about choosing to stand up one more time than you fall. Picture a stormy sea. At first the waves crash over you. You're tossed, unsure which way is up. But with every breath, you learn to float. You find rhythm in the chaos. And eventually, you swim toward the shore. You learn to trust yourself to navigate the wild water, not because it's easy, but because you can. Now here's something that often gets overlooked. Fear and doubt can also be signs that you're on the right path. If your dreams didn't scare you, would they really be big enough? If your goals felt safe and predictable, would they stretch you into your fullest potential? No. Those uncomfortable feelings mean you're pushing boundaries, challenging old stories, and stepping into the unknown. And that's where transformation happens. So, the next time fear knocks at your door, don't barricade yourself inside. Invite it in. Say, thank you for warning me. I see you, but I'm choosing to move forward anyway. And with every step you take despite the fear, you rewrite your story. You show yourself what's possible. You prove to your mind and heart that you are in fact stronger than you think. And that, more than anything, is the real power of self-belief. Part 8. The role of gratitude and positivity in strengthening self-belief. Let's take a moment to breathe deeply and settle into this space. A space where your mind can rest and your heart can open. You've walked a long path already, exploring what it means to believe in yourself, to face fear, and to rise each time you stumble. Now, we arrive at a quieter, yet profoundly powerful companion on this journey: gratitude. Gratitude may sound simple, almost too simple, in a world that often feels loud, complicated, and challenging. But beneath its quiet surface lies an extraordinary power. When you practice gratitude, you're not just saying thank you to the world. You're retraining your brain to notice the good, to see what's working, what's alive, and what's beautiful, even in the smallest moments. And this act of noticing changes everything. You see, the mind is like a spotlight. It can shine on either the shadows or the light. What you focus on expands. If you focus on your mistakes, your doubts, your fears, they grow bigger and darker. But if you focus on your strengths, your blessings, your small wins, you begin to build a foundation of positivity that supports your self-belief. Imagine starting each day by finding just one thing to be grateful for. It might be something simple, the warmth of sunlight on your skin, a kind word from a friend, the breath in your lungs that carries you through the day. Over time, these moments accumulate like drops of rain that fill a well of resilience and hope you can draw from whenever life feels dry or hard. Gratitude helps you see that even when things don't go as planned, you are not powerless. You have resources inside you, memories of strength, moments of kindness, times when you've overcome before. This shift in perspective is transformative because it rewires how you relate to yourself. Instead of beating yourself up for every flaw or failure, you begin to treat yourself with the kindness and respect you deserve. And kindness to yourself is one of the most essential building blocks of self-belief. When you embrace gratitude, you also invite positivity, not the fake, everything's perfect kind, but a genuine, grounded positivity that acknowledges reality while choosing to see possibility. Positivity is a choice. It's a commitment to look for solutions rather than problems, to focus on growth rather than limitation. This mindset doesn't ignore challenges. It equips you to face them with an open heart and a clear mind. The Stoics taught that happiness comes not from external things, but from how we interpret those things. They reminded us that our thoughts shape our experience. By practicing gratitude and positivity, you shape a mindset that supports your journey. One that says, I am capable, I am enough, I am moving forward. This doesn't mean every day will feel easy or joyful, but it means you have tools to help you find light in the darkness and strength in the struggle. Let me share a simple practice that you can begin right now. A gratitude pause. Close your eyes gently. Take a slow, deep breath in. And as you exhale, bring to mind something or someone you appreciate. It could be a person, a place, a memory, or even a small comfort, like a cup of tea or the sound of birds. Feel the warmth of gratitude spread through your body, a gentle glow in your chest. Hold on to this feeling for a moment. Let it remind you that even in the midst of difficulty, there is something good to be found. And from this place of gratitude, let a thought arise. I am growing stronger every day. Because you are. Every step you take toward gratitude and positivity is a step toward deeper self-belief. As you carry this practice forward, notice how your view of yourself begins to change. You'll catch yourself celebrating small victories instead of dismissing them. You'll find patience for your own mistakes and curiosity about your challenges. And slowly but surely, your inner voice will shift from doubt and criticism to encouragement and hope. This isn't magic. It's a muscle, one you can strengthen with each act of gratitude and each positive choice. You might find that when life throws unexpected difficulties your way, gratitude becomes your anchor, the steady ground beneath your feet. It grounds you in what's real, what's good, and what's possible. And positivity lights the path forward, reminding you that every moment holds the potential for growth and change. Remember, self-belief is not something distant or unattainable. It's a living, breathing part of you, waiting to be nourished with kindness, gratitude, and positive attention. So, as you continue on your journey, be gentle with yourself. Pause often to appreciate the good in yourself, in others, in the world around you. Allow gratitude and positivity to fill your heart and mind, and watch as they transform not only how you see the world, but how you see yourself. Because when you believe in the good, in your strength, your worth, your potential, you unlock a power that no challenge can take away. And that power will carry you, step by step, toward a life shaped by hope, courage, and unwavering self-belief. Part 9. Building daily habits to nourish self-belief. Let's settle in once more, breathing slowly, allowing your mind to relax and open. You've already discovered something essential, that self-belief is not a fixed trait you're born with, but a living, breathing force inside you. It grows, changes, and strengthens over time. And like any living thing, it needs care and attention. This care comes in the form of daily habits, small, consistent actions that quietly but powerfully build your belief in yourself. Habits are the architecture of our lives. They shape how we think, how we feel, and how we act. The good news is that you don't need to overhaul your entire life all at once. You don't need to wake up one morning and suddenly feel like a completely new person. What you need is to start small, to take tiny steps every day that add up to something big over time. Imagine a garden again. Each habit is a seed. Some seeds grow quickly, others slowly. Some require sunlight, some need watering. But with patience and care, they will blossom into a vibrant, thriving space. The first habit I want to invite you to cultivate is intentional reflection. At the end of each day, pause for a few minutes and reflect on what you did well, what challenged you, and what you learned. This is not a time for harsh judgment or criticism. Instead, it's an opportunity to see yourself clearly, as a learner, a grower, a person committed to becoming stronger. When you reflect daily, you start to recognize patterns. You see where your strengths lie and where you can improve. More importantly, you begin to witness your own resilience, the way you keep going even when things are tough. The second habit is setting small, achievable goals. Big goals can be inspiring, but they can also feel overwhelming. When your goals are too large or distant, your self-belief can falter because the path seems unclear. Instead, break your goals into tiny steps that you can accomplish today or this week. Celebrate each small win. Every completed step is proof that you are capable, that you can follow through, that you are moving forward. Over time, these small successes become the foundation of unshakable self-belief. The third habit to nurture is positive self-talk. Pay attention to the conversations you have with yourself. Are they kind, encouraging, patient, or are they filled with doubt, criticism, and I can't statements? You have the power to change this inner dialogue. When you catch yourself thinking negatively, gently pause and reframe your thoughts. Instead of, I'm not good enough, try, I am learning and growing every day. Instead of, I can't do this, say, I will do my best and keep trying. Over time, these shifts in language reshape how you feel about yourself and your abilities. The fourth habit is surrounding yourself with support. Humans are social creatures. We thrive when we have people who believe in us and encourage us. Seek out relationships and communities that uplift you. Distance yourself from those who drain your energy or undermine your confidence. Remember, building self-belief doesn't mean going it alone. It means finding strength in connection, in shared experiences, in kindness from others. The fifth habit is embracing failure as feedback. This is one of the hardest habits to cultivate because it goes against our natural desire to avoid pain and discomfort. But every failure is an invitation to learn, to adjust, and to grow. When you stop fearing failure and start seeing it as information, your self-belief deepens. You realize that setbacks don't define you. Your response to them does. The sixth habit is practicing mindfulness. Mindfulness is the simple act of being present in the moment, noticing your thoughts, feelings, and sensations without judgment. When you cultivate mindfulness, you become more aware of the stories you tell yourself and how they affect your self-belief. You learn to observe negative thoughts without getting caught up in them. And you create space to choose more empowering beliefs. Now, these habits won't create overnight miracles, and that's okay. Growth takes time. It requires patience, persistence, and self-compassion. But with each day you invest in these small practices, you water the seeds of self-belief, helping them take root and flourish. It's like building a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger you become. And as your self-belief grows, you'll notice subtle but powerful changes. Your decisions become clearer. You take on challenges with greater courage. You treat yourself with kindness and respect. You inspire others simply by being true to yourself. This is the promise of daily habits, the quiet magic that transforms ordinary days into extraordinary journeys. So, as you continue on this path, remember to be gentle with yourself. Some days will feel easier than others. You might stumble. You might lose your way for a moment. That's perfectly normal. What matters is that you keep coming back to these habits. Keep choosing to believe in yourself, one day at a time. Because with every small step, you are building a life grounded in strength, resilience, and unwavering self-belief. And that, dear listener, is a foundation that no storm can shake. As we come to the close of this journey together, take a moment to breathe deeply once more. Let the quiet settle within you, like a gentle flame glowing steadily in the heart of a calm night. Awakening the power within is not about rushing to a finish line. It is not about becoming someone else or reaching some far-off destination. Instead, it is about remembering who you already are, a being of infinite potential, strength, and resilience. The power inside you has always been there. It's the courage that whispered softly in your darkest moments. It's the spark that refused to die, even when everything around you seemed lost. It's the quiet, steady voice telling you to keep going, keep believing, keep rising. This power is yours to claim, not as something outside of yourself, but as the very essence of your being. It is the strength to face your fears, the wisdom to learn from every stumble, and the grace to move forward with compassion and hope. Remember, this awakening is a lifelong journey, not a one-time event. Some days you will feel the power blazing brightly. Other days, it may flicker like a fragile candle in the wind. Both are part of the dance of life. Be patient with yourself. Honor every step you take, no matter how small. Each moment you choose to believe in yourself is a victory, a seed planted for the life you are growing. And when doubt or fear visits, as they inevitably will, return gently to this truth. You are stronger than you think, more capable than you realize, more deserving than you have been led to believe. Let that truth guide you. Let it lift you. Let it carry you through every challenge, every uncertainty. You are not alone on this path. Countless souls have walked before you, awakening their own power, overcoming their own shadows. And countless more will follow, inspired by the courage you show simply by choosing to rise. So carry this power with you, quietly but fiercely. Let it be the light in your darkest moments, the anchor in your storms, the fuel for your dreams. The power within you is waiting, ready to awaken, ready to shine. All you have to do is believe, and in believing, you become unstoppable. Thank you for allowing me to walk this part of the journey with you. May your path be filled with strength, hope, and endless possibility. Until we meet again, keep shining your light. Keep awakening the power within.